What's going on, you guys? This is Andy from Bones and Brews, and welcome to a fun little series I'm putting together here this fall. This is episode 1 of our Chili Across America. So today we're going to start with a recipe from the 70s that was from the 1974 World Chili Cookoff Championship. This is the winning recipe. It's called Hot Pants Chili. Now, the story with this chili, it was created by the first female to ever win that chili cook-off. Her name was Allegani Jani Schofield, so we're going to use her recipe today. Now, this recipe entitled Hot Pants Chili really stems from those really short shorts that women used to wear in the 70s as well. So a little bit of trivia there for you. This recipe today is a little bit different. It's obviously a no beans chili because it's coming from that area, Texas, but it's also got a little Southwest flair, a little masa flour and some mole sauce. You know what? So let's get started. All right, so we're down in the man cave today, so let me show you what I got going on. I got all my ingredients laid out here. I'll put the full ingredient list for you guys down below in the description. Brought inside that induction cooktop that I just recently got from Changbert. Little info for that for you in the description as well. And my nice little Lodge Dutch oven here as well, 6 quart, so should be big enough to make that chili today. You know what, so let's get the camera over and start making that chili. All right, so I got that induction oven going here, more of a kind of a lower medium heat here. We're gonna begin to get a little olive oil going at the bottom of that Dutch oven. Let it warm for a moment. And then our first 2 ingredients we're gonna add in are onions. So I've got diced up here about 2 white onions. This is most of those 2 large white onions. I kept a little bit as kind of when we top off those bowls of chili later on. And a little over 2 pounds of that 85-15 ground beef as well. All right, so we'll go ahead and get that going in a pot. Let's go ahead and start with those onions. Let those kind of get a little translucent here before we add that beef in. It looks like a lot of onions, my friends, but it will cook down in that chili because that chili will end up sitting here in a simmer later on for almost 2 hours, all right? All right, so I'm going to continue to let this go for about another minute and we'll add that ground beef. Okay, time to go ahead and add that ground beef. I'll go ahead and put it in and I'll break it apart once it gets in there. Once again, so this is trying to get about 2 pounds. This is a little over 2 pounds just based on what I got from my local grocery store. I'll go ahead and break that apart a little bit. All right. And ultimately, we're going to let this kind of cook down here for about 10 to 12 minutes until most of the liquids from that ground beef begin to dissipate, all right? Okay, it's been about 12 minutes. We have got a nice brown going on that ground beef in there, and those onions are really started to become translucent as well. So we'll add our next couple of ingredients. So I chopped up 2 diced jalapenos. I did try to clean them out a little bit, so there's not a lot of seeds and stuff there. About 6 cloves of garlic here as well. All right, trying to get a mince or like a good chop on that as well. We're gonna go with about, according to the recipe, about 1.5 teaspoons of ground cumin. All right, so I got that ground cumin in there. And then we're going to add some mole sauce. So I'm looking to add about 3 tablespoons of this mole paste here, sauce I've got here as well. So grab myself a spoon here, mix that together. There's a couple different styles. I got the mole negro here, so we're going to go with 1 and 2 and 3 and a little bit more for good luck. All right. All right, so we got that going there. So those are our next 4 ingredients. We're going to mix this together and let it go for about another 2 or 3 minutes. So now we're going to add in a few more ingredients. We're going to go with some beef stock. So we're going about 4 cups. So with these containers like this, that is approximately 4 cups to begin with. So we'll go ahead and pour all that beef stock in. The smells down here in the man cave with this chili recipe are already incredible, my friends. Can't wait to taste this here in a few hours after it simmers for a little while. All right, there we go. There's all that beef stock. All right, so we've got that in there. Then we're gonna go with a little bit of kosher salt. I'm looking to add in about 2 teaspoons of that kosher salt. All right, there we go with that salt. Next, we're gonna add in 1 15-ounce can of crushed tomatoes. So we'll go ahead and pour those in. Now you can buy the crushed tomatoes with that chili seasoning already in it, but probably don't want to do with that with a recipe like this because you're going to be adding chili seasoning to begin with. Speaking of chili seasoning, we're going to add, now you could use any chili seasoning you want. You could grab yourself a packet of that store-bought chili seasoning. Since we're going Texas style today, I got that Texas chili seasoning from Meat Church. We're looking to add what will be about 2.5 tablespoons of that chili seasoning in here as well. All right, there we go, my friends. And then we're going to cap it off with a lager beer. I've got one from here in St. Louis, the Swickle Urban Chestnut. So you're looking to put about 12 ounces of beer in here. I would pull it out of the fridge for a little bit as well so it's not ice cold when it hits that chili. So I got myself that larger 20-ounce can, so try to do approximate here. Hit that chili seasoning on the top. And then, yeah, that feels about right. And guess what? The rest will be for me. We're going to mix this together, and we're looking to bring it to the boil. So I'm going to turn that heat back up just a little bit here. We're going to bring it to a really light boil, and then we're going to bring it back down to a simmer and cover it up for about 90 minutes, all right? Okay, you can start to see we're getting a little light bubbling here in that boiling. I definitely don't want it to splatter here, but it's obviously getting to that temp that we want. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of drop that temp back down to a simmer temperature. I'm going to go ahead and cover it up, and we're going to let this simmer for 90 minutes before we come back and add another ingredient and let it cap it off for an additional 30 minutes after that. All right, folks, it's about time to add our next ingredient, but we're going to get it ready first. So it's still going to be pretty liquidy inside that pot because we added so much beef stock in that beer as well. So we're going to add some masa flour here to help thicken things up as we finish out this process. I've got myself about a half a cup of water here, and we're going to add 3 tablespoons of that masa. 2 and 3. All right. And I'm just going to take myself a spoon here and kind of lightly begin to mix that together so it'll thicken up in that water, creating almost like a little light paste. All right, so that's ready to go. Top of that lid's gonna be nice and hot, so we'll go ahead and open it up. See the steam coming out of there. All right, and then the next thing we're gonna do here is go ahead and take that masa, kind of lightly pour it around the outer edge, and then grab myself my wooden spoon because I do not want to scratch up the bottom of this nice Dutch oven here. All right, I'm going to stir that together a little bit. The smells are amazing, my friends. And we're going to grab the lid, throw it back on, and let it simmer for at least another 30 minutes, maybe a little bit more, till it starts to thicken up, and then we'll be ready to give it a taste test. Okay, so we've let this sit at just kind of like low-medium simmer here for a little over 30 minutes. You will notice that there's still a little more of liquid in there than I know I'm used to in a chili, but we're going to roll with it because that was the recipe. I have a funny feeling that the longer we let it simmer, obviously the more it'll thicken up, as well as that if you're like me, chili's always better the next day, and it seems to thicken up after it has a little overnight in the fridge. But one more thing we'll do here. So Allegani's original recipe also called for a little bit of Tabasco sauce here as you finish it off. Well, I don't have any Tabasco, but we'll add a little bit of hot sauce here instead. We'll hit a little dash of hot sauce in there. All right, you can see I got really kind of a light boil going because it's been sitting at that simmer for so long here today. We'll go ahead and grab that wooden spoon one more time. Now, as I move the spoon through it, even though you saw a lot of liquid rise into the top, there is a thickness inside of here with all of that meat. So it's still going to be nice and hearty. Just kind of, once again, a little more of that liquid than I'm used to in a chili, but I'm sure it's going to be really tasty. All right, friends, so what we're going to do is grab ourselves a ladle. Got myself my soup chili bowl here. We're going to begin to fill our bowl, let it cool for a moment, And then we're going to top it off with a couple more fun things here. And then we'll give it a taste test, all right? All right, as you guys can see, I've got that chili here in the bowl. I always like to top it off with a little bit of cheese. So I've shredded up some cheddar here. None of that pre-bagged stuff, as you guys know. Hit it with some freshly chopped green onions as well. And then a little bit of sour cream right on the top. There we go, my friends. There is our hot pants chili. Let's head on over to the other counter and give it a taste test. All right, friends, moment of truth. Grab the old spoon and see what old Allegani was up to back in '74 when she came up with this recipe. Remember, this is the hot pants chili. Let's give it a taste test, all right? Definitely get some of that meatier ingredients. Those onions are almost like super soft, and you can tell already as well. Got a feeling I might drip this here. Here we go. Wow. Definitely get that heat through it, hence the hot pants name, I bet, as well. Definitely not as thick as I'm used to with a chili, but you can also tell it's a no beans chili as well. Really, really good. Really lots of flavor, lots of depth to this as well. I like hitting it with that cheese and everything else we did on the top as well. Fun little recipe to make. I can already tell you, just from that initial taste, that this will be a chili that is going to be absolutely delicious the longer it sits. So I'm going to let the rest of that pot container simmer a lot longer here before we eat some more later today. And then even the next day, when you reheat that chili, I always feel like that's the best time to enjoy chili as well. Those of you who have a barbecue smoker at home like I do, I tend to like to take that chili on day 2, throw it on the smoker and reheat it on the smoker, so you kind of infuse that smoke smell, as well as it blends a whole new taste to it. But this is a really good chili. Interesting recipe, especially learning the history of Allegani and how she was the first woman to win that World Chili Championship there, that cook-off back in '74. So once again, we'll put everything you guys need to know about this recipe and some of the things we used in this recipe as well in the description down below. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on upcoming episodes here of some of our Chili Across America series, as well as other great recipes we have on the channel. Hit that subscribe again, you guys. We'll see you guys again on Bones and Brews.